Hey guys, appreciate you stopping by. Thought I'd do a quick video. I'm going to put some new strings on one of my guitars here. These are the Ernie Ball Slinky Cobalt. These are 9 through 42 guitar strings. I normally have been using, I've always used the Super Slinky Pink Pack 9 through 42s. I want to give these a try. I seen that Steve Vai uses these, and I thought, well, Steve, if Vai is using them, I mean, they've got to be pretty good. So these are supposed to really be very slinky and just like move really good, and so I'm going to give these a try. One thing that I do is, I've had these strings on here, actually, the ones that are on this guitar, I've had them on here for almost a year. I really can't afford to change my strings out that often because I have so many guitars. So I just change them out once a year. These actually really don't even need changings. But what I do is I clean, after I get through playing, I take an alcohol prep pad and I clean my strings with that alcohol prep pad. And you'd be amazed at how long these strings will last. And the tone is actually still pretty good. And actually what I'm going to do is we're going to wrap these up, and then I'm going to put them in an alcohol solution and clean them, and I'll put them back in the new packets. And these can actually be reused if you run out of strings or you're in an emergency and you need some strings. You got your set of strings to put on there. So I like to recycle my strings and just clean them and make them last a lot longer. And so we're going to give these Cobalts a try, and I'm going to put those on now. But yeah, so I'm going to get all these older strings off and get them saved back, and then we'll get these on and see how they play. So once you get your strings off, I have another rag. I take it and clean my fretboard with some alcohol. Just, make sure it gets any kind of dirt or grime or anything off. And then once we get the alcohol off, I'd use a different rag, and I'm going to add a little bit of the Luana coconut oil. This is 100% pure Luana coconut oil. And we're just going to rub a little bit all on the wood and rub that in. And once you work it in, just make sure that you wipe down and get all your coconut oil off. But what's cool about this coconut oil, it doesn't leave a greasy residual. As long as you make sure you wipe your fretboard down really good, you don't get any kind of residual. And what's neat about this stuff is, if you guys have used fast fret before, this stuff is like fast fret, but it lasts 10 times longer, and it'll keep your wood healthy. So coconut oil is like an all-natural product. I've been using this stuff for years, and it really does a wonderful job. So we get it wiped down. You can also put that coconut oil on the back part of your neck. And like I said, just make sure everything's wiped down good. And I'll take a little bit of alcohol with a rag. I'll clean my pickups, just clean everything off. And when we get all the dust and everything, we're going to get ready and put these new strings on. Okay, so we're getting these Ernie Ball Cobalt strings on. And when I come through here, I don't know if you guys can, let me get this where you can see. I just come, put your string in, come through here. You got to make sure you go under your string dampener. But as I go, we get this string on. There we go. I usually spread my hands like this, and then it goes down these slots where you tie these little Allen wrenches. I put about that much distance, and we cut it, put it down into our slot, and go ahead and tighten it up. This distance here will give you enough wrap distance when you start wrapping it with your, with your tune keys. So now once I get it through my tune keys and up here on the upper part of my nut section there, where the bolts are, we're going to I just spread my hands about like that, where the string goes up in an arch, And we're going to come down to about where it goes down in to our bridge, and we're going to cut it right there. And now we can just insert that in there. We want to make sure our string's lined up in that channel. Just tighten it down. When we tighten these down, you want to tighten it, but you don't want to over tighten it, because you can strip these bolts. So go to where it just gets tight, and then just a little bit more, and that's good. Now we're going to put the last string, get the last string in, so we're good at the high E. Just got about that much. And we're going to cut our end here. And we're going to get this one in our bridge saddle right there. You want to make sure it goes down, of course. And we're going to tighten this last one up. Alright, so now we got them all in. It kind of looks like, see how much distance we have? Shred our hands out. Then one thing that I do is when I tighten everything down, you can take your trim bar. What I do is I push down and kind of level my bridge out, and then I will take my key turner. We're going to turn the top, and when I start cranking these down, you want to kind of snug them all up, get them a little bit tight. Then leave your E string last. Don't put a lot of pressure on it, because you can end up breaking your E string right off the bat. So I'll push my bridge down, the trim system, kind of level it out, and then just start wrapping from your heavy E string down, and then it'll tune a little bit quicker for you. Okay, so what we can do is now, I'm just taking my key turner. We're going to turn our strings until just get a little snug to it. We're going to go down through and do each one, and I have my strings lined up with your neck, so these just go through, and we're just gonna, I got this one already turned. I think I did like 3 wraps, so we're gonna do all those. Then once we get them snug, I'll show you a little thing that I do that makes it easier for quick tuning. That's going over the top of your string. So it's going to kind of snug up about right there. You just want to snug it up for now until we get all 6 of them set. When you start wrapping your string, you want to make sure that your string sets is pulled up in the middle of your tower here. And that one, I pulled it up and it's got snug. It's doing fine. We're just going to bring this one up tight and snug it for now. Right there. We'll do our E string. Goes over the top, and then as you tighten up, you just want to make sure that everything stays in the center of that tower and is pulled up nice. There we go. You definitely don't want to pull too tight on this E string. You want to just kind of snug it up for now. Right there. Okay. what I do is I push my trim system, my bridge, where it's flush with your body. So I'm pushing it down, and we're going to listen to our string. I'm just going to tighten them just a little bit right there, as I keep my trim system flush with the body. I'm keeping my trim system flush with my trim bar. Right there. You don't want to pull too tight on your E string. When I get to the correct notes, like we're on A, I'll tune to A, and then I'll be on my first, second, third. You're on your 5th fret here, and I'm gonna check. I want to hear that neck, so we want to make sure that's, you know. Get my dampener off. There we go. So I'll leave my E string a little bit low to begin with, till we get everything tuned up here. I'll still leave my E a little bit flat down there, my high E, leave it a little bit flat, because you don't want to tighten it too tight. You always want to come in with it last as you're tuning all your strings. There we go. So now another thing I'll do is I'm tuning up. I had them all tuned, but let's go ahead and we're going to work our bridge. We're going to work our tremolo a little bit back and forth. Now we're going to go back to tuning. So your strings will kind of stretch on you when you first put them on. Still going to leave the E a little flat for now, the high E. So I'm noticing my bridge is coming up flush. So I'm tuned still a little bit flat on the E. You always want to leave your high E string a little bit flat when you're tuning your guitar. And we'll bring it up to pitch as the rest of these stretch. So now see, I'm seeing my bridge system. So we're going to stretch a little bit more. Just kind of work your bridge back and forth. Go back to tuning. So as we do that, the bridge is now setting in the right position, and your strings are going to temper. I'll leave my locking nuts off my guitar, or not. I won't leave them off. I put them back on, but I don't tighten them down for about an hour. That way your strings can kind of stretch and temper. Then you can retune, and then after about an hour or so, then we can retighten those back down. So what I've noticed about the Cobalt strings is I'm going to have to loosen my springs in the back just a little bit, so they're not pulling quite as tight as the regular Super Slinkies. So I had to back off of my the springs right here. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead and retune. I noticed these Cobalt strings, they seem to grab your fingers a little bit more on the heavy E string, the A string, and the D string. I don't think they're wrapped as tight on the wrapping. They just seem a little more grabby. So they just seem, it's a little more grabby. So they're pretty nice. I noticed they're a little bit more like a bluish silver color on the color of the strings. They just seem a little bit more grabby. They got great tone. So far I'm digging them. They're fine. So I'm going to continue to. This is the first time I've tried them. I'll leave them on my guitar a while, and we'll see how they work out.